Well, I stayed up last night and I did all the stables. I did them all. So let me get through. Wait now. I did them all. Where are they all at? Oh, here they are. We're going to start with Dominics barn now. A lot of horses now. All the babies. A lot of people say, who's training this 2-year-old? Who's training that 2-year-old? I train all the 2-year-olds. All of them are in my care. I'm responsible for all of them. I make sure I go with them all now in Ohio. Jason Merriman would be my second in command, and Jason McGinnis. Both of them kind of work with the babies. Some of the babies are on the front side, and both Jasons have real good control over all the babies, but they're still reporting to me. I make sure that we make all the shoeing changes and equipment changes that we need to make accordingly, and those guys facilitate them all. So it works well there. For here, it's the same. All the babies are in our care, my care on the one side. Even the ones on Dominic's side, we keep a pretty close eye on them. And that's the way it always is. None of those babies are set in stone. Obviously, the PA horses are not going to be staying with Jason, or the New Jersey horses. Some of the Ontario horses will move to Mario or Harry or Dominic, but for right now, they're all with us, me. So here's Dominic's stable. Some of his horses will be leaving. I'm looking at them also. So absolute euphoria. At some point, she's going to head to Ohio, I would imagine. She was in 224 last week, but what I liked about her, she looked good. Very, very good. We had trained her a couple of times and then re-x-rayed that knee just to make sure there was no changes, no regression in the modeling in that knee. It looked perfect. So she's ready to go, I don't know, 224, it's 3 weeks probably, especially since she raced in January. Yeah, probably 3 weeks. Brace for Landing's going to be ready soon, and he's going to hang out in Ontario. Here's the thing with Brace. Do we send him to New Jersey to race in the B division and then go from there? Or do we hang out here, let him race the numbers of 2, 3, 4, and race his way up until June when I think the good times comes? We have this horse staked heavily, and I think there's nothing that I've seen, at least up until 2-5, that would lead me to believe that he's not a nice horse. So I'm going to continue on with the belief that he is. The trajectory he's on now and the calendar that I see in front of me for him is more Grand Circuit oriented. That's how I believe Brace for Landing is. Now, I could be wrong. We'll see probably in the next 3 weeks and 8 seconds. We'll see pretty quick what he's able to do and how he's able to do it. But for right now, I've been very happy. There's a number of paths. New Jersey, Grand Circuit, or hanging around Ontario for a while. Those 3 paths are still well lit for him, and we'll see how they play out. Carter Michael Dio, again, his first slated stake is the Bunker Hill in Massachusetts. Is he going? I think it is. One of these horses I did not stake to that. I don't know which one it is. But they still have the All-Stars, which is 6 or 7 days right after that. Crantini, same schedule for him. They'll probably get a race or 2 in here in Ontario, and then they're looking at either the Bunker Hill or just wait for the PA All-Stars. Cunning Connie was in 212 in the race bike, or in the jog cart last week. She's going to go in the race bike this week. I had somebody message me the other night and say, you don't talk enough about Cunning Connie. Cunning Connie is a meat and potatoes, even Steven type filly. Right? That's how she is. I don't talk about her the same way as I talk about Crantini because they're 2 vastly different animals. One, we're thinking Grand Circuit, top of the line horse. Cunning Connie's just a meat and potatoes, middle of the road filly, the type of filly you want to own. She hasn't done anything wrong. And if she happens to come forward and do extraordinary things right, then we'll talk about her more. But for right now, she's in middle of the road, as I like to call them, meat and potatoes type horses, and there is nothing wrong with that. She'll go on the race bike this week, likely school the week after. Gandalf the Black, another horse like Cunning Connie. The reason I like him is because he's tenacious. He wants to do his work. He wants to put in 105%. Sometimes you got to hold him back a little bit because he can get himself in trouble. So Gandalf the Black, lots to offer. We're going to have a lot of fun with this guy this year. Horn player, what can I say? She was very, very good the other night. In fact, exceeded my expectations in her first maiden voyage as a 3-year-old. Really, really happy with the way she looked. A horse that actually exceeded my expectations even more than her was Landing Pad this week. I thought he was kind of in a holding pattern where you just couldn't get him right. We've made a number of shoeing adjustments throughout the last year and a half with him. None that have really, really worked that well. It was just a tiny, tiny, minor tweak. And I could see the difference because the week before I could hear him foraging quite a bit and was really holding up his gait. And that minor tweak to his shoeing really changed everything. And I was shocked. I was very, very surprised, happily surprised. A mile and 57 and 4, 58 with him, I didn't think was attainable on Friday, and it was. He looked very good. So he'll qualify next Friday. My 1%, eating good, training down good. How much he been with him? Probably 35 or so. We'll have him ready again. We want to make sure we do it right because he's not going to have a million chances. We want to make sure that this is done right so that there is no, well, we could have done this or we could have done that. I want it done right this time so that there's no excuses. He either races well and gets there and does his work well, or he goes and does it somewhere else. And that's really where my 1% is right now. But I fully expect that horse will come forward and be an effective 3-year-old for us. Red Overbach got beat up the other night. Yeah, I saw the race. Thank you. I was well aware. I think in hindsight, I thought at the time it was a great drive by Louis. Maybe the horse just wasn't ready to do what he was asking him to do. I thought he was, but clearly he was not. His blood didn't come back bad. Yeah, under scope, there was a few flecks of blood and some mucus there, but not enough to see him walk on the end of it the way he did. Leads me to believe that maybe it's more his work that we put into him. Got to be careful how you work this guy too, because he is a bleeder. So, do we just kind of turn the page and bite our lip and put him back in to go and race him a little more conservatively? That may be the way we go with this guy. Sir Strong, I do have my concerns with Sir Strong. He's going to get a couple more training trips, likely be put into qualifying. If he doesn't look like he's going to be effective, he'll likely go by the wayside, along with a couple of the other ones in the coming weeks. High Enterprise is one we talk about all the time. These types of things. I don't dislike the horse. Yeah, I'm disappointed. But at the end of the day, they're just not going to be effective for the stable, and they're going to move on. Spitfire Overseas, I suspect by all accounts, will be very effective for the stable. Really, really happy with what I've seen, or at least heard, about him. James is raving about him, so I can't wait to see him qualify. Stay close. Getting closer, getting better. Did put some weight on it. Kind of changed his gait a little bit, whether it was his vision or the weight. So we're left, again, saying, okay, so we got to make these changes, that changes, and get him back going. Good. Where's he at right now? He's been in 2025 a couple of times, probably going to win the race bike in another 10 days or so, and then off to the races with him. Unbeatable Kemp, White Tiger, both race great on Monday. I think both will be improved the next time you see them on the track. So that is Dominics Burn. Be back now to talk about Mario, Harry, Jason, a couple of little burns, a couple of smaller burns that have some horses, more notably my brother and his wife, Mark and Aaliyah, have HL Blue. We'll be back and talk about all them in just a minute.